These practice management tips are being presented by Hans Hansen and Judy Holmes of the Compliance Clinic. In the last webinar, we talked about how damaging unresolved conflict can be to your practice. In this webinar, we're going to drill down a little bit and talk about a specific kind of conflict, workplace bullying, and the threat it poses to the health of your practice. So let's do a pop quiz. Why did a 6'5" Stanford NFL lineman contemplate suicide, check into a hospital for psychological treatment, and eventually quit the team? You may remember the bullying claims made by Jonathan Martin. He told investigators he was subjected to repeated harassment by 3 teammates for over a year. It included toxic texts, demeaning pranks, racial slurs. It included obscene gestures directed at his mother and sister. He even claimed he was required to pay $15,000 to his teammates for the cost of a party he wasn't invited to. And all of this led to him leaving the team. So what does this have to do with your practice? Well, workplace bullying is surprisingly widespread. There are statistics all over the place, but up to 50% of those surveyed indicated that they felt they'd been bullied at least one time in their work career. Bullying can have a devastating effect on a practice culture, and it can be very costly. As with other conflicts, it can lead to loss of productivity, low morale, excessive absenteeism. It can even increase workers' comp claims for stress-related illnesses. And it can lead to lawsuits and EEOC claims, particularly if the bullying targets the employee's protected status, which might be race, gender, disability, age, sexual orientation. In some states, weight and height are considered protected statuses. So if the bullying involves making fun of someone's weight or height, that can actually lead to a lawsuit because it may be unlawful. Workplace bullying can also result in legal liability if it involves stalking, threats of violence, assault, battery, false imprisonment, such as when someone gets locked in a room or a closet or something as a prank. It can also lead to liability for negligent hiring or negligent supervision. So what is workplace bullying? It doesn't necessarily involve yelling or screaming. It could be unwarranted criticism, intimidation, excluding someone from social events, spreading false rumors, insults, pranks. And the longer it goes on, the more likely it is that it will result in a lawsuit. Workplace bullying is so prevalent, there's actually a Workplace Bullying Institute. And that institute found that bullying often occurs in workplace cultures such as healthcare. And that's because those industries attract people who want to help and see the good in others. A study involving nurses found that bullying frequently occurs in hospitals and other healthcare settings with power disparities or with a rigid pecking order, where the workplace culture allows power struggles, excessive red tape and bureaucracy, where there might be perceived inequity in scheduling, assignments, and opportunities for advancements. So who are the workplace bullies? Well, one recent survey found it's mostly women on women bullying. But regardless of gender, bullying may not easily be detected. The bullies may be passive-aggressive. They may be clever and devious. They're often those who lack interpersonal skills and feel insecure or threatened themselves, but they put fear in others. Who are the workplace bullied? Well, they are most often found in offices in which bad behavior is ignored or tolerated, or when the bullying involves the management staff. Often, those bullied don't complain, but even if they don't complain, they call in sick, or they file claims, or they just leave. And the other 50% may complain or even file a lawsuit. So how do you prevent workplace bullying? Well, first, take it seriously. Create an anti-bullying policy, and it should include examples of the behavior that will not be tolerated. Train your employees on expected behavior, and train your managers to enforce the policy. Reinforce and remind your workers about the policy. Don't just create an anti-bullying policy and then just put it on the shelf and forget it. Ensure there are consequences for bad behavior. Your anti-bullying protocols should include a mandatory reporting requirement. In the case of Jonathan Martin, he didn't report it for over a year, and the Dolphins management said, "Hey, we had an anti-bullying policy, and it included a mandatory reporting requirement, but Jonathan Martin never reported it." Most people claim they don't report bullying because they don't want to get fired, or hey, nothing will change, it'll just get worse, or they fear retaliation. And those who observe it don't report it, mostly because, hey, they think, well, it's not my business, and I don't want to be the subject of bullying myself. So what happens if you get a complaint? Well, rule number one is don't ignore it. If you become aware of bad behavior, investigate. Find out what happened, and if appropriate, take disciplinary action. Reinforce your policies with the entire staff, and make sure no one retaliates. One very important final step is document well. Document the measures you take to prevent bullying, to promptly investigate complaints, and document your efforts to take corrective action if bullying occurs. Please visit us at thecomplianceclinic.com, and if you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like us to do a podcast or a webinar on a particular subject, please contact us at the emails on this slide. Thank you.